one. And so in Toronto, we have the Toronto Zoo. Get up and close and personal on your next trip with the Toronto Zoo. So we want to see here. So move your paws. The polar bear, because Saturday, February 21st. Oh, there's a 5K, 1K run/walk actually at the Toronto Zoo on Saturday, February 21st. That is awesome. So the Toronto Zoo is actually open all year long. So it does not close, which is really cool. Oh, so all the different things at the Toronto Zoo going on. Unlimited visits all year long with a Toronto Zoo membership. Your gift card. And you get the Toronto Zoo app. The Toronto Zoo is, let's see about the zoo. It is a very large zoo. Actually, a fun fact about Canadian Disney family, our first live stream ever was actually at the Toronto Zoo. It's still posted. It's actually our first time ever trying to go live. Was at the Toronto Zoo. Hey, Canadian Disney, how was... I was one girl from Derail Line 3. How was Niagara Falls? I was kind of reading it a little bit. How was the weather there? How was your hotel? So their mission, connecting people, animals, conservation, science, and traditional knowledge to fight extinction. That is awesome. I want to know how big the Toronto Zoo is. But again, so that is the Toronto Zoo, again, very, very big. There are 5 priority areas until 2028. That's really awesome. Key documents and reports, impact report. Let's see if we can look at Toronto Zoo. The pictures of it. There's some, yeah, so they actually have the little tram that goes around the park. It isn't an additional fee. And they have the carousel when you walk in with the Toronto Zoo and all of the different animals. Really, really cool. Welcome in, Karen. How are you? So we are voting on the best Toronto attraction. So our first one is the Toronto Zoo versus Ripley's Aquarium. So Ripley's Aquarium is located downtown Toronto. And that's it. We actually live streamed from there as well. So pretty cool. So these are some of the images that you can find. We actually did do a walkthrough also of the lagoon here, which is pretty cool. But yeah, so we're going to first. So when you see this image is when you are going to vote on what you think is the best Toronto attraction versus those two. So the first one is going to be Toronto Zoo versus Ripley's Aquarium. And you're going to have 1 minute to decide which is the best attraction. If you had to choose one attraction to go to, which would you choose? The Toronto Zoo or the Ripley's Aquarium? You have 1 minute to decide. Let's see those votes. So 1 minute, whenever it says voting time. Oh, Canadian Vasily says the Toronto Zoo. So we got 1 vote from the Toronto Zoo. Kinsley says Ripley's Aquarium. The Toronto Zoo for sure has a lot of animals, I would say. A lot. And it does also have fish as well, similar to the aquarium. I guess if I had to vote, I know that this one, I thought that this one was actually one of the hardest ones to pick from. And then Belle says the Toronto Zoo. I do like Ripley's Aquarium for the winter time, like especially in the colder months rather than walking in the zoo. I think that that's kind of where Ripley's has a little bit of one up just because it's indoors. So it's perfect kind of for time Fish and chips, oh my. Oh, Karen says the Toronto Zoo. Bino says Ripley's. Welcome in, Bino. How are you? So we got Toronto Zoo 1. Ripley's 1. Toronto Zoo 2. Karen said Toronto Zoo 3. Ripley's and Ripley's. Ooh. I think I have a tie right now. 3 for the Toronto Zoo. 1, 2, 3 for Ripley's. So we have a tie right now. We do have a tie. 3 for the Toronto Zoo and 3 for Ripley's. Interesting. We need a tiebreaker. So we have a tie right now of the Toronto Zoo versus Ripley's. I know I have to cast my vote, right? Canadian is silly. Thank you. Oh. So if I'm the tiebreaker, interesting. And I am going to choose Ripley's. I'm actually going to choose Ripley's. I know. The Toronto Zoo is also so good. Oh, so sorry, Karen. No, said I'm trying to get the captions actually to work. Maybe Canadian Vasily, I can ask you that question. I haven't been able to get the captions to work before the live, but I am working on that, Karen, for you. But so Ripley's is kind of is the winner, I guess. I was the decider. Okay, so I'm going to keep track for you all. So Ripley's Aquarium of Canada won that one. And again, we do have a live stream actually of it. Let me see. Just BRB for 1 minute. Just because I want to make sure that I'm not kind of exposing the next one. Okay, I'm not. Good. Okay. Am I exposing? I want to keep it a surprise. Perfect. Okay, so the next one, the next round that we have is going to be if you had to choose the transcribing device. Oh, but definitely, I'm trying. I want to get the captions. I have seen it on some YouTube live streamers that have their captions on while doing it. So we're going to choose right now, if you had to pick between watching a game. I know they have different sports. I know that they contain different sports. At the Scotiabank Arena, if you had to choose between the arenas, if you would pick the Scotiabank Arena, or if you would choose the Rogers Center. I know, again, they host different sports, but the actual arena itself, which one would you choose? Scotiabank or Rogers Center? Let's see if I can pull up both. Just so if anybody watches. Okay, so this is the Rogers Center, the one that's open here, the white one. This is what it looks like, the Rogers Center here. The white one. And then the other one is the Scotiabank Arena, which kind of looks like this. So for the arena rise, is what I want to say. If you had to choose one of those arenas to represent Toronto, would you choose the Rogers Center or would you choose the Scotiabank Arena? Let us know. 1 minute to choose. What do you think is the most iconic one? Sky Dome. Yes, the Rogers Center. Oh, I have to put a little picture on. The Rogers Center, yes, used to be called the Sky Dome. And I guess I refer to that as well. I refer to the Scotiabank Arena. I also only recently started referring to that because of the live streams. I didn't want to confuse anybody that wasn't from Toronto or from Canada. But I would always call it the Air Canada Center for a while too. So we got Rogers Center. I'm going to choose Sky. So Sky Dome I'm going to count as Rogers Center too. So Canadian Facility Rogers Center. Rogers Center Bell. And, ooh, Karen voted Scotiabank. So we got 3. Oh, and then we have 3 for Rogers Center and then 1 for Scotiabank Arena. Rogers Center is definitely unique, especially that it opens. I feel like it's more of an icon of Toronto, especially with the CN Tower next to it. So I do feel like I see that. I do like the inside, though, of Scotiabank Arena a little bit better. I don't know if that's just me. I do feel like the inside is a little bit nicer in the Scotiabank. But from the outside, I do think that the Rogers Center looks nicer. But I think Rogers Center wins that round. Welcome in, EP. So we are voting for the best Toronto attractions. So whenever you see this picture, it's voting time. You have 1 minute to vote between the two. And our thank you to our mod who is putting it in the chat of the options. So Rogers Center is the winner. Okay. Awesome. Oh, yes. Thank you, Canadian Vasily. Thank you for reminding me. The Rogers Center has a hotel attached to it. Yes, the Marriott, which I thought would be amazing. That would be a dream to stay in, especially this past year. I can't believe I'm saying that. In 2025, when the Blue Jays almost won. So close. That would be amazing for whoever was staying in that hotel, watching the games from there. You can watch the games from inside your hotel room, which is amazing. Welcome in, Nicole. Yes, Rogers Center is winner. Thank you for your votes. Yes, great. So Rogers Center is winner. So for our first rounds, Ripley's Aquarium actually won over the Toronto Zoo. I was the deciding factor. We did have a tie. So our next one, we are going to vote. Actually, it's in this picture. So the CN Tower versus Nathan Phillips Square. So they're actually both in this picture. You can see, so that's the iconic, obviously, CN Tower. And then this is Nathan Phillips Square over here in the picture. So if you had to vote for the landmark that represents Toronto, would you vote more for the CN Tower or for Nathan Phillips Square for that iconic Toronto sign, for the skating rink? If somebody asked you where I only can visit one iconic landmark between the CN Tower and Nathan Phillips Square, what would you choose between the two? You have 1 minute. Oh, so I see already a vote for CN Tower from Nicole. Already a vote from Canadian Vasily for CN Tower. Oh, and then Belle said CN Tower as well. I thought the CN Tower would win by a landslide, but I'm like, let's just see. I've actually had the blessing of going up to the CN Tower and eating in it, well, years ago, and it was an amazing view. It did go at nighttime. It rotates ever so slowly, so even if you have motion sickness, it rotates so slowly that you can't even see it, and the view is breathtaking from up there, and the food was also incredible as well. All CN Towers, no votes for Nathan Phillips Square. Nathan Phillips Square, though, was really cool, and I really like how they host different events. Even right now, they have the FIFA World Cup countdown clock there. So if you're looking to visit Toronto, and again, they do the skating there. We did a live stream there, actually, of the tree lighting ceremony as well at the Nathan Phillips Square. They do have that iconic Toronto sign. So if you want to take a picture there, they have food trucks parked there almost, I feel like all year long. You can see some sort of food truck there. You'll see the iconic towers. Actually, I'm surprised that the towers aren't in this picture. So CN Tower is the winner. Woo. Awesome. Okay, so we're moving on to our next round. So this one you will have to help me out, chat, actually. So the next one is going to be the Distillery District, which we also live streamed at. The Distillery District, the iconic, I guess, Distillery District. Let's go. This is us. I almost said Canadian Vasily. Canadian Disney family. We did live stream there. from, there you go. Actually, after Christmas as well. So it was our first live stream, and then our last live stream kind of the Christmas one. I don't know if this counts as, I'm going to skip it for a second. But this is it. Let me see if I can, this is the live stream of it. So this is the Distillery District. This is actually our live stream. Oh yes, Canadian Visitor Destination Travels. If you're not following Destination Travels, they also do live streams as well in Toronto. But yes, this is the Distillery District that we did live stream from. It is open all year long. The Winter Village, so this that we live streamed, is only open for a certain amount of the year. I believe the first day was November 13th, if I'm remembering correctly. But mid-November until January 4th. So this is the Distillery District in Toronto. It is open all year long, but the Winter Village, so these vendors are only there for a certain amount of time. So, but the second one, you're going to actually have to help me out because I have never been to the second one that I'm going to say. So, this is the Distillery District. And the second one is St. Lawrence Market. I actually personally have never been to St. Lawrence Market. I've never been there. I really want to do a live stream there one weekend, and I can experience it for the first time with all of you. But I have never been to the St. Lawrence Market. I've driven by it so many times, can't even count, but I've never been inside. We drove by it as well when we did the city bus tour. Just kind of what it looks like from the outside, but I've never been inside to know. So you will have to help me out and vote. So if you had to go to the Distillery District or St. Lawrence Market, which one would you choose? I know also St. Lawrence Market does have food from what I understand, obviously from the inside, a lot of very good vendors. And the Distillery District also has food all year long. Obviously different types. It's more kind of like restaurants and like specialized food, I would say, at the Distillery District. So you have to tell me out. So you have 1 minute to decide between St. Lawrence Market versus the Distillery District. So again, if you had to recommend to somebody visiting in Toronto that said, I only have one day to go to the St. Lawrence Market or Distillery District, which one would you pick? 1 minute. Oh, good question, can you visit? I guess the Distillery District as it is now. See that? Oh, we got one vote from the Distillery District from Nicole. But St. Lawrence Market has great food. I definitely want to check it out. We'll for sure do a live stream from St. Lawrence Market because I really want to see it. And especially for the first time with you guys, I would love that. So the Distillery District, we have one vote. Karen voted the Distillery District. Canadian Vasily said the distillery and its atmosphere has my heart. Oh, that's so sweet. I really like the Distillery District all year long. We actually went to it also. They have the Illuminarium there in the Distillery District, which is a really cool immersive type of experience. And it's different themes. We did a video there. They had the Fantastic Four, the new movie that came out. And it was actually a free event, so anybody could go and see it at the Distillery District inside the Illuminarium. And we walked through it, and it was in the summertime, I want to say, and it was just beautiful to walk through. It's so nice. It's just a really cool part of town. And also I feel like where it's located is so different kind of than what's around it, so it kind of stands out. Oh, yes, there is a new St. Lawrence Market. Yes, I did hear that. The Canadian was like an extension, correct, from it? Tony also says the Distillery District. So no votes actually on St. Lawrence Market. I guess I'm not missing out on a lot at St. Lawrence Market, I guess. They also, St. Lawrence Market had also a winter market this year as well. We wanted to actually live stream it. That was one of the plans. But then I believe it got too chilly. It was like really, really cold. So the Distillery District is the winner. This is really cool. Also because it helps us with the live streams of, you know, what content to bring you all live, because we do go live from the fun events around Toronto, and different attractions of Toronto is kind of what we specialize in. So we're always curious as to see which one everyone would choose. Okay, so the next one that we have is a pretty cool one. I think it's a pretty cool matchup because they're kind of similar in a sense. So we also have gone live from this place a few times, if you can guess. It is live. It is free every third Tuesday of the month from 4:30 to, or from 4 to 8:30. Let me check that out actually for you guys right now. But I'll give you the answer. It is the ROM. It is the ROM, so the Royal Ontario Museum. The third Tuesday nights are free. We have live streamed actually twice from the ROM on this Tuesday night, where the third Tuesday nights are free. You just have to come on this website and get your tickets. So experiencing the museum after hours, free for everyone on the third Tuesday night of every month from 4 to 8:30. I couldn't remember if it was 4:30 or 4. So you know. So again, it is free every third Tuesday of the night of every month from 4 to 8:30. You just have to come on this website and get your tickets. Again, it doesn't cost you anything. They just want to know how many people are coming for the attendance. So and again, we did live stream from it. We thought, so it's actually coming up this Tuesday, right? What day is it today? I'm losing track of time. Yes, I believe so. This Tuesday, it is free. So if you want to go, and actually right after Valentine's Day, if you're thinking of some Valentine's Day options, February 17th, it's also free. So again, you just have to go online and get your tickets, and you're free to explore the ROM. And it is great that the ROM offers this. So again, we did live stream from it twice. So if you do want to check it out again, if you go to our live page, and then we live streamed from it twice. So if you just click on the live tab, and then you will find it. When was the last time we were at the ROM? I love going to the ROM. And it reminds me of living in like the real life night at the museum. We live streamed 3 months ago. Maybe we're due for a visit at the ROM. But that is the ground floor of the ROM. And it is so great that the ROM is offering this. And also, another thing is that if you have a Toronto Public Library card, you can actually get free passes to the ROM using your library card. So if you have a Toronto Library card, so that has to be, you have to have someone who has a Toronto Library card or who is a Toronto resident. And as long as you have the Toronto Library card, you can actually get free tickets once a year for your whole family. I can't remember how many tickets is included. I think 4, and you can get passes to the ROM. So if you're coming from out of town, or if you're a Toronto local and looking for what to do during these winter months, again, this Tuesday, the ROM has free Tuesday nights from 4 to 8:30, which is such a great deal. Pretty incredible. And again, we do have a live stream of it where we do walk through it, and we did it twice. I really love this. But again, this is the ground floor of the ROM, just a sneak peek. And the next one we actually have not done. I went a trip there actually when I was in high school. But I've never been since, and I actually really do want to live stream from there again. But the second place is the AGO, so the Art Gallery of Ontario is the second. So we're going to do if you had to choose between the ROM and the Art Gallery of Toronto, which one would you choose? And I think that they have free tickets as well. Yes, I think it's on Wednesdays. I read this once. First Wednesday is free. Very interesting. I really like how they have these initiatives. So admission to the AGO, Art Gallery of Ontario, is free the first Wednesday night of each month between 6 to 9. So their window was a little bit shorter than the ROM and a little bit later. So upcoming first free Wednesday nights. The next one will be Wednesday, February 4th. You can get into the Art Gallery of Ontario for free. So maximum of 2 tickets can be booked at one time is what it says. And all visitors, including children and strollers, require a ticket. Just so you know. So both of them offer free tickets if you just want to check it out for a little bit. The ROM, especially because you visited it very soon, or very recently, I should say. That time frame, you can be at the ROM the whole day because there is so much to read and so much to see. So definitely a tough one. So you have 1 minute to vote now, chat. If there was somebody who asked you, hey, I have one day in Toronto and I want to visit either the Royal Ontario Museum or I want to visit the Art Gallery of Ontario, which one would you choose? You have 1 minute. So the ROM versus AGO. 1 minute starting now. Thank you, Kinsey, for putting that in the chat. So Nicole voted the ROM. Oh, you get a free yearly pass, Canadian Visibly? That's so cool. So 1 vote ROM, 1 vote AGO. Karen votes ROM. Tony votes ROM. Belle votes AGO. Oh, Nicole votes AGO. So it's 3. Welcome in, Randy. How are you? Randy voted for the ROMs. We're voting between the best Toronto attractions. Randy, we're trying to decide on what the best Toronto attraction is out of my list. So right now we're voting for the Royal Ontario Museum or the AGO. Got a lot of votes for the ROM. I think it might be a tie so far. Let me make sure. After Kinsley said, I'm going to count after Kinsley says ROM versus AGO. I think I'm going to count from there. So we got AGO, ROM. Yep, that's 2. 1-1. Belle said AGO. Tony said ROM. Karen said ROM. Canadian Visibly said AGO. So we have 3. We have 3 votes for each. Do I have to be the tiebreaker again? Maybe I'll be the tiebreaker again. This is the toughest one. Belle says this is a tough one. I know they're so similar. I was like, and I think it's such a great matchup because I've been to the AGO only when I was in high school, so really long time ago. I won't say the actual. Oh, Bino, thank you for being our tiebreaker, so I don't have to. Bino votes the ROM. Thank you. And actually, I would also vote the ROM if I had to be the tiebreaker. I would choose the ROM. There is so much to do with the ROM. There's so much to do, so much to see for all ages. They even have, actually on our last live stream, we actually kind of discovered that they almost have a whole floor, it seems like, just for littles, because a lot of people are like, oh, I don't want to bring, my littles to the museum, but they actually had a whole like discovery part in the ROM that I actually never knew for the littles as well. And there's so much to learn. Every time I go there, I learn something else. So the ROM is actually the winner. Oh, I'm gonna count your first vote, for the ROM. So the ROM is the winner. That one is a tough matchup. I thought Toronto Zoo versus Ripley's was a pretty tough one as well, which I think it was. That's why there was kind of a debate. All right, I'm gonna tiebreak. Okay, so the next one, we're getting down to kind of our winners. So we have the Toronto Zoo versus Ripley's. Ripley's won. CN Tower versus Nathan Phillips Square. CN Tower won. St. Lawrence Market versus the Distillery District. Distillery District won. Distillery District. And then ROM versus AGO. The ROM is the winner. So this one is kind of cool. I thought it was kind of cool. They're similar in a sense. Oh, yeah. AGO has a daycare. That's pretty cool for little ones. Just a cause trouble, Bino. It's okay. Oh, I didn't know that. See, again, I haven't been to the AGO in so long. I really want to go, though. That's like my live stream. One of my live stream goals coming up in the next couple weeks is to go to the AGO. I think that would be a really cool live stream. Is going to the Art Gallery of Ontario, so you all can see it as well. Okay, so we have some of our winners, and we're going to do our head-to-head soon, too. And we're going to try to decide the best Toronto attraction out of all of these. I have a feeling I know what it's going to be, but sometimes the chat surprises me, so I don't know. Okay, so the next one. Again, we did actually live stream from both of them. One of them we've live streamed from a lot. From a lot of their events. If you're already going to kind of guess, if you are a fan of ours, which we appreciate. Thank you so much. But one of them we have live streamed quite a bit from all of their events. We actually were there the last day that it closed before it opens again. Is Canada's Wonderland. So Canada's Wonderland is going to be our first option. Canada's Wonderland. Again, this is kind of a more theme parky question, but this is when you walk into the park. So Canada's Wonderland is the first. It's like, I don't know what the next option is, but Canada's Wonderland wins. Again, so we're thinking that if somebody comes to Toronto and they're like, hey, we're their tour guides. Hey, where should I go? Should I go to Canada's Wonderland, or, and I'm going to say the next one. But this is Canada's Wonderland, Canada's premier theme park. It's probably our main theme park in Canada, I would say. I can't really think of another one that would top Canada's Wonderland in Canada. I feel like this is the main one. It's Canada's Wonderland. The next one, we actually did a live stream from as well. So Canada's Wonderland, again, is for sure amazing. Roller coasters, rides, characters, events, festivals, water park. They cover it all, which is really cool. They obviously have, again, the Winterfest. They have Halloween. They have summer events. They have Kids Fest. They have a lot to offer. But the next one is more of kind of a nostalgic one, I would say. So again, I don't know what you would vote on. If you would vote on the best theme park, or if you would vote on the most nostalgic theme park. Sorry if I'm also scrolling really fast. So the next one is going to be, drum roll. See, Oktoberfest at Canada's Wonderland we also did. So the next one is going to be, I was going to do it versus the CNE. But the CNE isn't open as long. Where is it? There it is. So Canada's Wonderland versus Centerville Amusement Park. So Centerville Amusement Park, is located on Toronto Island. So you do have to take a ferry to get there. And again, it is, like Canadian Facility, it is very focused on the littles aspect. But I do feel like it has such a nostalgic part of it, because I grew up going to Centerville. And I do think that the island itself is really cool also to visit. So to take the ferry there, and it feels like you escape Toronto. You're in like a whole different place. The island is beautiful. And then you also have the amusement park that you can go to. And again, you can go on it as adults. You are a little bit more limited to the rides that you can go on here, but they do have that iconic Skyliner ride. The Sky Ride that goes above. It's actually kind of located. Oh, I'm actually not in the right part of the park. See if I can find it. Oh, we're actually on the Skyliner ride right here in the live stream. So if you had to choose between Canada's Wonderland or Centerville, and we're actually going to change it to Toronto Island. So again, they like rides, they have littles, and what would you tell them to go to? Centerville or Canada's Wonderland? You have 1 minute to vote. And Canada's Wonderland, yeah, Canadian Facility says Canada's Wonderland is for kids and adults both, which makes it, Canada's Wonderland is a little bit more for both rather than Centerville is more for the amusement park. Oh yeah, you don't have much connection? Our connection was okay when we were there. Okay, I didn't find it that bad. There was kind of parts, I would say. You know what, actually, where the signal wasn't the strongest was actually at the farm. The farm area was actually the hardest to get signal in the corner. So yeah, so Centerville, little background information for anybody wanting to go to any of these Toronto attractions. Centerville does have a farm there as well. It is, you don't have to have admission to walk through Centerville, and you don't have to have admission to go to the farm. So you just have to have admission to go to the rides at Centerville. So we have Canada's Wonderlands. Belle voted Canada's Wonderland. I'm going to count your vote as Canada's Wonderland too. Randy Rex says Canada's Wonderland. Ooh, Tony said Center Island. Tony is with the dark side. You are imposter. I really like Center Island, Centerville amusement park as well. I really do. I think it's like for the nostalgic. I think it's just such a cute little park. For the rides, Canada's Wonderland hands down would win. I guess I'm looking at more of the overall, like the ambiance, the rides, the sights, the sounds, the feeling. That's kind of more what I'm looking. But I think Canada's Wonderland is the winner of that one. Which I'm not surprised. Canada's Wonderland. Since actually we're on this topic, and I did actually want to do this, we'll do a quick little vote in this vote. Canada's Wonderland versus the C&E. Since we're doing that. So which one would you choose? So again, somebody is here at the end of August, and they're like, I want to go to a place that has rides. Would you still tell them to go to Canada's Wonderland, or would you tell them to go to the C&E? Good question. So 1 minute. So would you say Canada's Wonderland still, or the C&E? And we do have many streams of the C&E. We're actually at the C&E opening day. So C&E is the Canadian National Exhibition. Sorry for the ads, friends. I have to get the YouTube Premium. This is the vendors actually at the C&E here. Oh, and island food is so expensive. I will say that, Canadian Vasily, yes. Thank you actually for bringing that up. So if you are going to the Toronto Islands, even if you don't go to Centerville, pack food. Pack food. We cannot stress that actually enough. Yes, and then Ramsey said if you had little ones, it'd be Center Island. So yeah, that's why I, like, at Canada's Wonderland, I feel like our littles are very limited to what they can go on. Whereas Centerville, they can go on everything, basically. Yeah, actually, my son can go on everything now because he's 5. So he can go on everything. Oh, Karen says the C&E, though. C&E versus Canada's Wonderland. Karen votes the C&E. And then Tony would say Canada's Wonderland. So the C&E versus Canada's Wonderland, which one would you choose for the experience? So pretend someone's here in August. These sandcastles are always so cool. They amaze me. I can hardly make one with like a little bucket. So I'm like, wow, this is incredible. So this is at the C&E. This was actually opening day when I live streamed at the C&E. Oh, and then Belle says she doesn't really like the C&E. That's okay. That's okay. I do think the C&E does have a lot to offer, not just the rides. That's why I really like it. It's a little bit different. It is also a little bit pricey. Oh, and then Canadian Vasily is still sticking to Canada's Wonderland. Wow, so even in prime August, you would still tell them to go to Canada's Wonderland. Interesting. I think the C&E is cool just because it offers so many different things. Like they have concerts there, free concerts. We actually live streamed Sean Desmond there. They had really cool concerts in 2025. Sean Desmond, 98 Degrees. They had a few different ones, which are really cool. And again, like, look, they have this whole farm area, the rides, the foods. So I think it's kind of cool. But Canada's Wonderland is still the winner. The water park, yes. The water park at Canada's Wonderland is amazing. On one of the live streams, I did walk up to it and I kind of showed it. It's just because it's a pool, so you kind of want to respect people's privacy rather than live streaming it. So it's kind of tough to live stream it. So Canada's Wonderland is still the winner. Okay, so interesting. So I'm making a note here. Canada's Wonderland. All right, so now what we're going to do, so we have, do you guys think that I missed any like main attraction that somebody would visit? Actually, it did. This one is kind of out of Toronto though. This one that I kind of wanted to do actually. It's technically out of Toronto, but if you're visiting Toronto, you could make the trip. And we actually live streamed also from both of these areas. So we're going to do Blue Mountain versus Wasaga Beach. So again, somebody is visiting from out of town and they say, you know, I want to do a little short visit somewhere around Toronto. Would you tell them Blue Mountain or Wasaga Beach? And we actually did live stream from both of them. This was the Blue Mountain one. We went on the gondola ride, actually. Is she secretly siding with them? I think she is. This is actually the gondola ride at Blue Mountain. Ooh, so Karen says Wasaga. Interesting. Wasaga, though, is quite under construction right now, as we saw in the live stream. I live streamed, I believe, on the or it was the Civic Day long weekend. I think I live streamed from Wasaga Beach, and it was so busy. So we have Wasaga, and Randy says Blue Mountain. Ooh, we have a little bit of competition here. Ooh, Canadian Vasily says Blue Mountain. I like skiing, so Blue Mountain. Have you gone skiing it? Like this past weekend, probably. I know you were at Niagara, but with all the snow coming in, probably Blue Mountain must have been packed this weekend. I can just imagine. Oh, it's a Four Seasons resort. See? Blue Mountain is very, very, very beautiful. I will say that. I think that, I guess kind of what you're looking for. Wasaga, the beach, obviously. But again, it is quite under construction right now, as we saw. But Blue Mountain, and look how beautiful this is. Like all year long. It's just like a beautiful place to visit. And a lot of things to do here too. Like that gondola ride. There's a whole section that I walk through on this live stream of different activities. Belle votes Blue Mountain. Oh, Tony says Wasaga. So we have one vote Wasaga, one vote Blue Mountain. Canadian Vasily said Blue Mountain. Belle said Blue Mountain. Tony said Wasaga. So right now Blue Mountain is still in the lead. Oh, and then Karen said she went to Blue Mountain once as a kid. That's a good experience. I know I haven't been to Blue Mountain quite a lot. But I have been. Sorry for my fast scrolling. These are all of our live streams. And then, where is it? I think it was a Civic Day. There we go. Wasaga Beach. Oh, it was a Canada Day. Yeah, Canada Day Civic long weekend. But again, it was quite under construction. And the beach, I would say, was very busy. Whereas Blue Mountain also went in the summertime. And it wasn't so busy. See, like how you can see all the construction here in Wasaga? And I think that, does anybody know in chat when this construction is going to be all done here? I know there's also Sable Beach that's near Toronto. I don't think I've ever been there unless I went there as a child and I don't remember. But so I think Blue Mountain is the winner. Blue Mountain. Nice. Blue Mountain is the winner. Really, really cool. So, since Blue Mountain is the winner, I know kind of a little bit of different atmosphere, I would say. But would you choose, this is going to be our last kind of random category, and then we're going to do head to head. Would you choose to tell your tourist, let's just say, to go to Niagara Falls or to Blue Mountain? That's going to be the next head to head. I know maybe Canadian Vasily is a little bit biased since he just went there this weekend, but Niagara Falls versus Blue Mountain. Time to vote. Voting time. So Niagara Falls. So that's the ROM, actually, I believe. Right? Yeah. It's under construction now, but that's how it looks. I think that's Canada's Wonderland in the back. There's the Toronto, like, I believe this is what they put as Toronto Islands. ChatGPT helped me out with this, I will be honest. I put, why are you voting now for Toronto? It makes this really, really cool image. There's a Toronto skyline. So Niagara Falls versus Blue Mountain. So again, you had somebody from out of town and they're like, where should I visit from kind of close to Toronto? Would you tell them Blue Mountain? Or would you tell them to go to Niagara Falls? Karen says Niagara. Oh, and then Tony says Niagara Falls. So you have 3 for Niagara. Niagara is very fun. It has so much things to do. Actually, I thought that I heard on the news that they're going to kind of try to push it out a little bit more so that it's, or expand it. Oh, actually, kind of not a sadder fun fact. One of the biggest Tim Hortons in Ontario is located in Niagara Falls. It actually closed down. I think it was a couple weeks ago that actually closed. I was really surprised. Canadian Vista, did you see, if you walked on Clifton Falls, that Tim Hortons in front of the Sky Wheel, it being closed? Because it closed. I was so surprised. Every time I have gone to Niagara, actually even on our last time, I believe that I walked right past it. I was like, oh, this is one of the biggest Tim Hortons. I was shocked that it is closed. I was so shocked that it was closed. Blue Mountain. Ooh, Randy Rex says Blue Mountain. Belle says Niagara. Canadian Vasily says Blue Mountain. And I thought that he was going to pick Niagara, actually. Randy says I've been to Niagara a lot. That's true. Once you kind of been to a place a lot, maybe it kind of gets overplayed. You kind of get used to it. You don't see like the hype of it kinds of anymore. I see that. Niagara on the Lake. Yes, Niagara on the Lake. So again, if you are watching this, trying to get some tips of where to go in Toronto, Niagara on the Lake, I believe, is about 20 to 30 minutes away from Niagara Falls, like Clifton Hill area where the main falls is, and the attractions and the hotels. It kind of looks like a Hallmark village. It's really, really pretty. Actually, on the Little Canada, our video, when we did the transition from day to night, you can actually see Niagara on the Lake. Tim Hortons is gone. Nobody knows what's going in it yet. I am so shocked. Because every time I've been to Tim Hortons, there's always a line. So I'm very, very surprised that that location closed. Bina also says Niagara. Niagara on the Lake, yes, is beautiful. So again, if you want to look at Niagara on the Lake, Destination Travels, we have the stream of Niagara on the Lake. Beautiful. It looks like it is its own hallmark town of Toronto, of Canada, I should say, or Ontario. I believe Niagara might be the winner. Even though we got the 2 votes for Blue Mountain, Niagara is the winner. For beauty, I would say Blue Mountain. It's beautiful to see the falls. I believe that if you're coming to Canada from any other country, it is amazing to see Niagara Falls, especially in daytime and nighttime when they have the projections and when they have the fireworks going on in the summer season. It is beautiful. And there's so much to do. It's so lively. There's every attraction you can think of. There's a roller coaster on top of Burger King. There's water parks. There's casino. There's, oh my gosh, there's a sky wheel. There's different type of golfing. They have so many things there, but really cool. Okay, so now we're going to do our head-to-head out of our list. Out of kind of the attractions. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we're going to put Niagara as the last one. Okay. This is kind of cool. Kind of cool. Okay, so somebody is visiting. I've never been to the Georgian village in the Blue Mountains. I don't think I have, Renzi. Would you recommend someone visiting the Georgian village? Again, and also chat if you have any recommendations of where else in Toronto you think is one of the best attractions for people to visit. Obviously, Toronto has several other attractions. Casa Loma as the main one that I personally really, really love and really enjoy. I just couldn't figure out what to pair Casa Loma with. And I was like, I don't know what to verse Casa Loma with, because there's nothing really quite like Casa Loma. The only thing I could kind of think of was Fort York, which is kind of more of a historic site. Versus Casa Loma, but I think Casa Loma would win that one. But Casa Loma also, we have live streams. Obviously, I'm very recommend anybody visiting Casa Loma. Toronto's castle is very beautiful, and again hosts different events all year long. Again, we have live streamed the Halloween event and the Christmas event and Disney Snow White that was also there. So if I'm missing anything, let me know if you think any other attraction that you would recommend. Somebody who was visiting Toronto and you would say that this is the best attraction here in Toronto. Or in and around Toronto. Okay, so for our first matchup, we are going to verse out of our winners. So this is a list from our winners that I'm doing now. List from our winners. The first one is going to be Ripley's Aquarium versus the ROM. So someone is saying, again, I wanted to visit, or which you think as a Toronto local or from Ontario, Ripley's Aquarium versus the ROM. Which one would you choose? 1 minute. I actually kind of want to show this. So yeah, this is with Sega actually. Let me see. Let's see, chat. Ripley's Aquarium versus the ROM. Belle says the ROM. Wow, interesting. The ROM. We live streamed a while ago. We have to visit it again. Ripley's. When was Ripley's? Wow, a while ago. I definitely have to go there again because I do not even see it here. And there you go, Ripley's Aquarium. And there it is. That's a cool little Little's amusement park there. So this is right actually when you walk into the ROM. Pretty cool. Ooh, so we have ROM. Belle votes the ROM. Karen votes Ripley's. Tony votes Ripley's. And Randy votes Ripley's. We have 3 Ripley's. Wow. Versus the Royal Ontario Museum. The ROM is really, really cool. I mean, sorry, Ripley's is really... They're both really cool. But I really like the ROM, actually. I mean, Ripley's too. Wow, I'm getting confused a little bit. See the Canadian waters? It is beautiful. You could spend so much time there. Ripley's. So these are all the live streams. You can always go back and look at. So Ripley's is a winner. Ripley's versus the Royal Ontario Museum. Ripley's is the winner. Awesome. Okay, so Ripley's versus the ROM. Ripley's is the winner. Okay. And now we have... Ooh, this one's kind of cool. So again, someone's visiting. And they want to know what the best attraction is to visit. Or you can also vote as a Toronto local what you think is the best attraction. If you were given the choice to visit one of these 2 for free, which one would you go to? So the CN Tower versus Canada's Wonderland. That's kind of an interesting mix. And then been to the ROM so many times. That makes sense. The Ripley's is... I understand that. Once you see the ROM, I get it. Well, especially... Unless they have those exhibits going on. I believe right now they have the shark exhibit. Especially if you've been there, you're kind of like, okay... I get that. Whereas every time you go to the Ripley's, you'll kind of see a different thing. Fishes doing different things, activities. So CN Tower versus Canada's Wonderland. Karen said the CN Tower. Voting time. Kinsley also votes the CN Tower. Ooh, Bo votes Canada's Wonderland. Thanks for using our little emojis. That little leaf actually has a little smiley face in it. And next to our members' names. So thank you, members. A special thank you to our channel members. Key will be Canadian Vasily, Randy Ruck, Littlest Stormtrooper, Bell GC, Daniel Bell, Nicole, and TC. Thank you all for being special channel members. Oh, a lot of CN Tower. Only one vote for Canada's Wonderland, but CN Tower. Wow. I wonder, chat, would you just recommend them going to see the CN Tower from the outside, or would you recommend them actually going up and seeing the view from the top? If you've ever seen, because you don't have to. A lot of people actually don't know this, but when you go to CN Tower, you don't have to eat there. You can just pay to actually go in the elevator and go to the observation deck and just look out. So you don't have to eat in the CN Tower. You just pay an admission fee to see the view. That's what I'm hoping actually to do on a live stream one day, is to just go to the observation deck and see. Actually, on the CN Tower website, if you do go to it, they actually have a live cam of it going all the time. I don't know if I could show it on the stream because I don't know if it's like a double stream situation. Oh, Randy, you were so right. The nerve to walk across the glass floor. I am so with you, Randy. I completely understand and agree. I was terrified to walk across it, so I did not. I'm like, I will just peek through a little bit. I know for sure there's millions of people who have walked on it, but it is quite terrifying. It's not for the faint of heart, for sure. I believe in you, Randy. You could do it. And maybe I can change my vote. That's okay. No, that's okay. Canada's one. That's why Canada's Wonderland. A lot of people say to visit it as well. It's kind of, I guess, what you're going for. But CN Tower is the winner, which is not surprised. So now we have the Ripley's Aquarium, CN Tower, and then for our last head-to-head, which is kind of an interesting one, would you vote for the Distillery District or Niagara Falls? So again, not staying there, so not sleeping in Niagara Falls. If they just had to visit it for the day, would you say the Distillery District or Niagara Falls? Kind of interesting. Niagara Falls, Niagara Falls. I see that. I was there. So Niagara is the winner. I would say Niagara is the winner. I would say that. Great. So now, since we kind of decided on that, so Niagara Falls, I feel like, again, never been to, oh, Kieran's never been to the Distillery District. Interesting. So now it's time to decide between the top tourist attraction of Toronto. Is it the CN Tower versus Ripley's Aquarium? as the top Toronto attraction. Very curious. So it would be the top Toronto attraction. So as a local, which one would you visit if you had the option to visit both? Or sorry, you had the option to choose from both and you only could choose one. Would you choose the CN Tower or would you choose Ripley's Aquarium as the top Toronto attraction? So again, you would go inside both of them. So either you would go inside the CN Tower and see the observation deck, or you would go inside Ripley's and see. So we got Karen voting for the CN Tower, Tony voting for the CN Tower, EP voted for Ripley's, Belle voted for the CN Tower. Thank you again for using our emojis. That one's a little hug, the little emoji hug, and then a leaf. I'm going to have to make a CN Tower emoji after this live stream for all of you to use. Ripley's. I think that I love seeing the CN Tower. I do love seeing it. I think it's an amazing icon of Toronto. It's beautiful. Every time I see it, I'm blown away. It is such an outstanding structure. But to go inside, I actually maybe would choose Ripley's just because there is more to see on the inside of it. But Bino also says the tower is the top attraction of Toronto. I wasn't surprised at this one, which I thought it would be the CN Tower. We have one vote Ripley's. We have CN Tower. Ooh, Randy said that would be a tie. So the CN Tower, Karen. Tony CN Tower 2. EP Ripley's 1. Belle CN Tower would be 3. Bino Tower 4. Randy said it would be a tie. Interesting. They are right next to each other also. So if you are watching this and are kind of getting tips and tricks of coming to Toronto, please come and visit us. Or again, if you're a Toronto local and don't know about any of these attractions, Ripley's is actually right basically behind the CN Tower. So you technically could see both by going. If you went to Ripley's, you would see the CN Tower because it is right there. So kind of all in the same type of area. Again, we have live streams so you could see them. So there's the CN Tower, and then right next to it is the Rogers Center. Little white dome here, and then like right, I would say, I guess, I think this building actually right here might be the Ripley's in the picture. Like this one probably would be Ripley's is what they're trying to show. So like that's how close in proximity they are. They're really close like that. But obviously when people hear of Toronto, they're like, oh, the CN Tower. So it is definitely one of the icons. So I think the CN Tower is the winner. But let us know ever if you have any questions about Toronto, visiting Toronto, any of the Toronto attractions, Toronto events. Again, what left a memorable mention that was left off this list was Casa Loma. I just personally couldn't figure out what to pair Casa Loma with, but definitely recommend going to Casa Loma. I actually saw today when I was going through the list of different Toronto attractions just to refresh my memory if I missed anything. There's Le Castile, which is located, I believe, on Dundas or Dixie. It's also a castle type of restaurant. I guess maybe that would be comparable to Casa Loma in a sense, because it's kind of a castle style, but that is more of a restaurant. There's also Old Mill, which is an honorable mention as well. That maybe could go up against Casa Loma, but Casa Loma is very historic. It's a castle. It has its underground tunnels. There's so much meaning behind it, so much history that goes into it. It's so beautiful. You can see the skyline perfectly, the events that they host. So Casa Loma, we definitely recommend if you are looking for something to do. Casa Loma would be very good too. Welcome in, Aldeana. Thank you so much for being here. We voted for the top Toronto attraction, and we came up with the CN Tower. So the CN Tower won over Ripley's, won over the ROM, won over the Toronto Zoo. So really, really cool. And actually between the arenas that we have, so Scotiabank Arena versus Rogers Center actually was the winner between those two. I'm surprised because I think the Scotiabank Arena is nicer on the inside, but I get it. Rogers Center, which is the white dome here, is more iconic on the outside looking in. Oh, thank you so much, Val. A lot of fun. Again, if you have any other questions about, visiting Toronto or any tips, we would love to give you any type of tips. and tricks of visiting Toronto. And again, we do live stream from these fun events. Since the CN Tower is the winner, I think that we have to live stream from the CN Tower, right? I think that that definitely will be one of our live streams. Fort York, yes, Fort York when open, Randy, is a great one. Thank you so much, Randy, from chat. Fort York, I love Fort York as well. I actually have a lot of memories growing up, again, going on field trips to Fort York in Toronto. And it was really cool. You learned so much about the history behind it, and you got to actually act out a type of war situation, which was really cool. I will always remember getting the wooden weapon, and then you had to like run across the fields. It was really fun and really interactive. And again, the tips that we learned today, again, the ROM has free tickets the third Tuesday. So this coming Tuesday, the ROM is free. And the AGO, the first Wednesday, Art Gallery of Ontario gives out free tickets on their website for the Wednesdays. So those are really cool options, especially in the winter time when everyone's like, what do you do in the winter in Toronto? Those two I definitely recommend, especially that it's free to go and check it out. And again, get your tickets online ahead of time. Also, if you have a Toronto Public Library card, they also give free passes to Ripley's as well. Speaking of Ripley's, you just have to log on the first, I think it's the 2nd of the month, to get your passes. Yes, you see what people, yes, at Fort York, you see what it's like when people first arrived here, which is really incredible to see. The life of what it looks like. There's also Harbourfront Center in Toronto, which is a really nice walkabout area. The Music Garden, we also live streamed from the Music Garden, which is beautiful. Actually, it was my first time going to the Music Garden last year with all of you on the stream, and it was a very beautiful destination in Toronto to visit in the summer. I just know a lot of family members from our channel do ask, what do we do in the winter time in Toronto? And especially people looking for maybe budget-friendly options. So again, the Toronto Public Library card, as well as those free nights, I definitely say to take advantage of. EP says the ROM also has discounted tickets. If you have a Presto card, yes. Thank you for reminding me. The Presto card also, if you hold a Presto card, which is basically your ticket to get onto any of the public transit here in Toronto, or GTA, Greater Toronto Area, I should say. They also, if you go on the Presto card websites, they also will show, oh, that's us. They also will show Presto, the discounts, Presto card discounts. Why not look at it now with all of you? Really, really, really good. Actually, thank you for bringing that up, EP, because that is a really good one too. The Presto card. Yes, the AGO. We actually did one of our head-to-head options today was the ROM versus the AGO, and actually the ROM won. Or look, speaking of Ripley's, 15% off if you have a Presto card. CN Tower, our winner, save 15% off in person, save 15% off CN Tower's timed general admission, and purchases at the shop when you show your Presto card. That is really, really good. The Canadian Auto Show online, 25% off. The Raptors, the Toronto Raptors, is also 20% off here. Toronto Rock Lacrosse. Scotiabank Arena Tours. I really want to do this actually on a live stream. I'm kind of working on that a little bit. If we can get that, the Scotiabank Arena Tours. Go behind the scenes at Scotiabank Arena. I really want to do that live. Hopefully, fingers crossed. Subscribe. So hopefully we can do that. Because that's what they want to do. Go Train Passes also have discounts. The Legoland. This also was a really good option to do in the winter months as well. This is located actually in Vaughan, which is really close to Canada's Wonderland. It's basically across the street, Vaughan Mills. It's a really cool place. Legoland. It's a whole experience. We also do have the walkthrough of it. So if you do want to check it out on our YouTube channel, the Toronto Marlies, 30% off. Brampton, Blondie's Pizza, Jersey Mike. So actually on food places as well. Second Cup, Taco Bell, then different food places. Oh, Queen Niagara Tours. So you have Niagara Falls too. 15% off. Oh, these skating places also. See, there are many things to do in Toronto. There's also Palladium, like if you're into arcades, the Rec Room in Toronto. There's a lot of different claw arcades as well that are becoming really popular here in Toronto. That's cool. Party Pong. That's really cool. Daydream Adventures. Is that like an escape room? Yep, an escape room, 20% off. I'd really like to do it like a live stream in an escape room, but then we would give the answers, so I don't know if they would let it. Arcadia Earth. This is also located actually at the Well. We did a live stream at the Well as well. That's located there. So look at there are Archers Arena. That's pretty cool. The axe throwing is really popular here in Toronto too. Young People's Theater. I think that's at the Distillery District, if I'm remembering correctly. Museum of Illusions. We did a live stream there actually as well. That's a really cool one. 20% off. This, the AgaCon, I believe it's called, or AgaCon Museum. That's also located very near the ROM. 20% off. And look, Art Gallery of Toronto. There you go, EP. Yes, it's 15% off with your Presto. And bowling. Yes, bowling is a good option to do here in Toronto in the winter months. So there's several things to do here. But again, so we kind of showed you some tips and tricks. So using your Presto card will get you discounts. Using, again, those free nights at the ROM and the AGO. Your Toronto Public Library card will also get you passes. Also, the underground in the downtown area. Yeah, that's really cool. I actually completely forgot about the underground until the other day. So the underground downtown area is a good place to walk. Free walks. And inside, City Hall, yes. And then Nathan Phillips Square does have their skating going on right now at Nathan Phillips Square as well. The Harborfront Center also has skating going on too. There's so many awesome suggestions. Hyde Park, obviously the Hyde Park, we live streamed him on Thursday on the snow day. That's open. And the zoo at Hyde Park is also actually open all year long, which a lot of people do not know about. And that zoo is completely free at Hyde Park. So there are options to do inside and outside. But I'm so happy that we decided on what the top Toronto attraction is, which is the CN Tower. And again, you can use your Presto card. So thank you, EP from chat, for reminding me of the Presto card. So you can get 15% off our top attraction. But thank you so much. I hope that you're enjoying these kind of live one-on-one question and answers type voting live streams. Again, we do live stream from all of these fun events. So if you check out the live tab on our YouTube channel, you can find them. And we will be live again this week. I believe we'll be live tomorrow from our city walks around Toronto. So hopefully you all can join into chat when we live stream tomorrow. And again, we will be live a few times this week from our city walks. And again, we're going to live one of these fun events because you voted. So we want to bring you what you would enjoy. So thank you so much for joining. And again, it's free to support just by bopping that like button. We truly, truly appreciate it. And again, a huge special thank you to our channel members. Kate Wilby, Canadian Vasily, Randy Ruck, Littlest Stormtrooper, Bell GC, Daniel Bell, Nicole, and TC. Thank you all for being a special part of our family. But again, just a free way is just by bopping that like button, subscribing, joining in. Thank you all so much for being here today and spending your Sunday with me. And again, we will be live tomorrow, so hopefully I'll see you all then. Remember, all you need is faith, trust, and a little bit of family. We will see you all real soon.